Hey guys, welcome to another ReaVerb blog tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to use the built-in ReaVerb plugin as a cabinet simulation, how to load impulse responses for guitar cabinets. And we're going to build up a kind of crunch tone for this DI guitar here. Here's the DI guitar, just as it's recorded. Nothing special, not really usable in a mix as it is, because it's not going through an amp. It's just a Les Paul with probably the bridge pickup, humbucker. There's a lot we need to do to this before it works in a mix. So the plugin I'm using as the amp is this plugin from LePou called Le456. I don't know which model this is emulating. 2-channel amp with 2 different switches for each channel. 2 sets of 3-band EQ, plus contour controls, and then there's some buttons for focus, bottom, and bright, and overall volume output. This plugin emulates the input section, the first tube stage of a real tube amp. The power section is going to be handled by the impulse response. When we put this on, it's going to sound terrible. I'm gonna have it on channel B in the crunch mode, and let's hear what we got. It's not going to sound good. So it's saturating, but it's not going to sound right. We're not used to hearing a guitar amp without a speaker. We're going to bring up the ReaVerb plugin. This one's built into Reaper. This one is an additional download, but it's free and it works on Mac and PC. And there will be a link in the description of this video so you can get it yourself. Pretty cool plugin. But we're going to focus on this one here. This is a convolution reverb, and if you want to use it for guitars, you need to load in a file. So we go to File. This is going to bring up my list. I've already have it set to my guitar cabinets folder. And in here, I have a bunch of things that I've downloaded over the years. You can see here, I haven't downloaded anything since 2014, probably. A lot of these are from 2009. I just got a bunch of them, and this ReCabinet bundle is something I bought years ago, and I haven't really felt the need to buy anything else since then. Let's take the modern, the 1960 and 57 mic, and then here there are different mic positions. There are also 2 different types of power tubes. So we're hearing the output section of the amp, plus the speaker, and the speaker which would be the Marshall 1960 4x12, plus the microphone. With this bundle, there's a lot of different options here. And the newer versions of ReCabinet are actually separate plugins, and all this stuff is kind of built in. These are actually WAV files, short WAV files that get you that sound. So let me play it so you can hear what an impulse response sounds like. Just a little click. And they all basically sound the same until you actually put them after an amplifier. So let's just start simple, 57, and we'll start at the cap, means the center of the speaker, touching the grill. So just double click that. And this is going to be super loud when you first load it in, so don't hit play. Start with applying minus 18 dB gain. That's going to turn down this volume, so you're not blowing up your speakers. Just make sure you do that with most impulse responses. They're normalized to 0, and you don't want to send in any loud signal into that because it's just going to be at, plus 18 or something like that. Then we need to change our wet-dry mix. So this is a guitar speaker. It's going to process the entire guitar tone. We're not blending anything here. We want to turn the dry down. And I usually set the wet to -3, just to give us a little bit of headroom because these are still going to turn out pretty loud. If you want to play through this signal chain, you want to have this 0 latency button checked here. All right, so it's coming out of the amp pretty quiet. it's like you have the output volume turned down on the amp. So we need to, I usually just crank this up, all the way up. So reacting a little bit more like a real amp now. Let's bump this up. I tend to start my guitar EQ at around 1 o'clock or 6 on the dial. So something like that. Then I'll sweep the contour, and I will also play around with the focus, bottom, and bright buttons. Okay, and then we can go back to the guitar cabinet section and try out different cabinets or different mics or different mic positions. Let's start with different mic positions. So this is straight on the cap, touching the grill. And next we're gonna go to at the cap, but 1 inch away. So the difference there is proximity effect. So it's less low end. It's a little more of an open sound. Let's try the same setting, but with the different power tubes. That's a fairly subtle difference. You can do things like that if you have your left and right guitars, change the power tubes. It's much easier to do this with a plugin than in real life. But that's something that can give you subtle differences with your doubles. Every little change you do makes those guitars sound wider. Let's try different cabinets. So let's try with the Tangerine, which is going to be the orange 4x12. And let's try I like the 121. That's the Royer 121. I really like these edge 6 impulses. What that means is about 1 inch from the center, where the edge of the dust cap meets the paper, and then 6 inches away. And this is the most open sound. You kind of get a more balanced sound of the speaker without it being a distant room mic. Not all of your impulse packs are going to have that option, but it's one that I like. And I think that's pretty much all there is to it. Find yourself some great impulses, load them into the built-in ReaVerb plugin, and get creative. Start mixing and matching stuff. I usually set this up so that each DI has its own guitar amp and its own reverb. And then any compression or EQ or gating or anything else that particular guitar performance needs. I tend to just keep it simple, one guitar amp setup as if it was something that I recorded in real life. And if I like the sound, I freeze it or I render it as a new file and I replace my DI so I can start actually mixing. That's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and support the Reaper blog through Patreon. Patreon is a way that you guys can support through small monthly donations and help keep these videos coming out at a regular basis. So if you really like these videos, please consider being a patron at patreon.com/thereaperblog. And also, there's a lot more tutorials at reaperblog.net, so please check that out. See ya.